Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. This morning, we complete 77 weeks of Meaningful Mornings. This morning, we complete 199 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Whenever there's a negative experience in our lives, it could be the weather, it could be a relationship, we celebrate when that doesn't last. Whenever there's a positive experience in our lives, we celebrate when that does last. So this morning we celebrate 77 weeks together, 199 verses together. In verse 33, Sri Krishna shares, we have to evolve from being externally oriented to being internally oriented. And if we do, we will feel rest. Be very clear about that. Most of our tiredness is not physical, it is mental. In verse 34, Sri Krishna shares how we can nurture this vision, and it is through a guide. We need to be more internal. What this is called is vision, and this vision is nurtured by a guide whom instills in us that this is possible. We can feel them through their life and lifestyle. In verse 35, Sri Krishna shares, the more the separation there is, the more the vices there will be. I am not jealous of myself. I am not lusty towards myself. I am not jealous of my mother. I am not lusty towards my father. There's absolute closeness with myself. There's closeness between me and my parents. But the more separation there is, the more the possibility of jealousy, lust, etc. And so one needs to work to deal with this vice separation to bring about unity. In verse 36, Sri Krishna shares, Papa Krit Tamaha. If one feels totally separate, which will express as being totally vicious, Papa Krit Tamaha, even then, one's nature does not change. The ego, the equipments, the experiences change, but not one's nature. The one who is the greatest papi or sinner needs this knowledge the most. I have already overtly shared with you that this does not describe you. You may feel it does, but it factually does not. Whenever you do feel, this applies to you. you got in a fight, or you're losing control of your mind, remember this verse. A sinner needs this knowledge the most. Whenever you're struggling, invest in this knowledge. I'd shared a practical way to do so yesterday in terms of scheduling your week towards listening and reading and watching. I'm offering more now. The word Bhagavata is to be understood backwards. Ta means a boat. Va means best. I think I spelled it wrong. Vata. No, yeah, ta va, then ga. Ga means to go or to move. And bha means light or nature. Boat, best, to move to one's nature. That is what is shared in verse 36. This knowledge is a boat. It is the best boat to move past ignoring how to be happy. Now, in reference to this boat being knowledge, we have to get onto this boat. A boat is there, but we have to get onto this boat. We have to be ready to get onto this boat. It could be a cruise ship where you have to have your passport and your bags, or even a kayak. You still have to hold that boat to get in, correct? And the way I describe this is to become receptive to knowledge. That receptivity is fertilized, is nurtured, is incubated by purity. To have one's lifestyle be pure. The word Chinmaya, like Swami Chinmaya or Chinmaya mission, means to be filled with chit, awareness of your inner world, your outer world. A way that we can become receptive to knowledge by incubating purity is to become Nama Maya, to be filled with the divine name. Which divine name? It is up to you. And the power and the purity of Sanatana Dharma is that there are endless names because there's endless personalities. Later on in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, Shri Krishna will say, Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Amongst all yajñas, the greatest yajna is japa. To be filled with the divine name. In the Ramayana, what is stated, Nama smaranam shreshtam sulabham, which means to be filled with the divine name is shreshtam. It is most efficient to become pure, to become knowledgeable. And sulabha. Sulabha means sukhena labhyate, which means easy, easily accessible, easily practicable. When you're turning your car on, when you're getting out of your driveway, as you're driving. I'm giving a lot of time towards getting onto this boat. Shri Krishna is describing how this is the only boat that will help us be independently joyous. And we often feel papa krittamaha. I just don't get it. So I am sharing with everyone to fill themselves up with japa. Meaningful repetition in your mind, in your words, in your actions. Both Sri Krishna and Sri Rama have stated that this is the best way to become pure. The glory of knowledge continues in verse 37. This is a sentiment that we have come across already. This whole section of chapter 4 is again trying to encourage us to live by yajna. Be dedicated to purity, and all of this can become real. Yate dhamsim samiddhognihi bhasmasat kurute arjuna jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. I'm reading the English translation. As the blazing fire reduces fuel to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge reduce all actions to ashes. This is not a new teaching. We have come across this. If this sounds repetitive, it's because Sri Krishna knows we're forgetful. The more we forget, the more we have to be reminded, correct? If you think about driving on a dangerous curve, there's more signs there, yes? Because people forget that the curve is coming up. So they have to be reminded more. The burning of all actions. Let me give you a technical framework here. When one knows their nature, what is burned up, or what we disidentify from, is sanchita karma. Now, what sanchita karma expresses as is avidya. I forget how to be happy, and this tends to be regrets of the past. So sanchita karma, that's a technical term, is representative of being forgetful. Those who are forgetful, they live in the past with regrets. For the one who knows their nature, all deleted. What else is deleted? Agami karma. That is not past-oriented, but future-oriented. This expresses as kama, a desire to be happy. And what is our relationship with the future? Typically, it is anxiety-filled. So the one who knows who they are, no sanchita, no agami. No forgetting, no planning. No regretting, no worrying. What remains is prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma expresses as karma. One is the most dynamic. And since they're not regretting the past or worrying about the future, where are they living? Dynamically in the present. When we describe you should live in the present, that's only possible if you know the presence. And that's all being shared here. Reflect on this. I had shared with all of you yesterday that I spoke to the Police Chiefs Inclusion Council right after I met with all of you. And I explained to them that the word Hinduism is not authentic and deep. It is a term that was given by those who don't practice Sanatana Dharma for those who live in the Indus land near the Sindhu River. The authentic and deep term is Sanatana Dharma. As a noun, this means infinite nature. As a verb, it means unchanging responsibility. It is our unchanging responsibility to know, to be our infinite nature. After the presentation, after I spoke, then a member on the council, he's part of an organization called P-Flag, which originally meant Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. This is what this acronym was originally founded on. Now it's been modified to be more inclusive. He wrote a paragraph to report to his organization about what I shared. I'm reading this directly to you. Our P-Flag representative at the Niagara Regional Police Service Diversity and Inclusion Council meeting on Monday, December 6th, Shri Vivek Gupta, this month's speaker, focused on personal growth and his role at the Chinmay Mission Niagara. His message, that the only purpose of life is to be independently joyous, was well received. Vivek made it clear that the mission's work extends beyond the spiritual and theoretical to make significant financial contributions to local charities. If you wish to find out more about achieving inner calmness or simply want to know more about Vivek, his message can be viewed at, and there's a link to, my bio on the Chinmay Mission Niagara website. I'm sharing this with you because this representative, this may be the first time in his life that he has heard the vision of Sanatana Dharma and how clear and moved he was. If that was a one-time deal for this seeker, what should we feel about getting ready for knowledge? We should already be enlightened. 77 weeks, 200 verses. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to draw verse 36. And I enjoyed seeing the drawings. There are drawings on our website now. Aparna from San Jose drew a picture of all of her equipments being on this boat. And this boat being directed towards her nature. Vignesh from Baltimore, he drew that on this boat, there's a fire. Now, in a worldly way, if there's a fire on a boat, that's a problem. But in a sacred way, this fire is knowledge, and this fire is our nature too, which is awareness. See the connection between knowledge and awareness. And Gita from Portland, she had drawn how Shri Krishna is playing his flute. And just like if someone's drowning in water, there's an alarm being played, right? Swim towards here. So that flute is that alarm for us. Your application for this morning, for today, I want you, I need you, I'm requiring you to write one paragraph on Bhagavad Gita through meaningful mornings in our community for the public. Like the member on this council wrote, 30 minutes in 3 or 4 lines, I want you to do the same towards Bhagavad Gita through meaningful mornings in our community in one paragraph. I look forward to seeing what you're going to share on our website. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.